Welcome to Mulch, the podcast for flower farmers who love growing beautiful things and want to build a business that lasts. I'm your host, Rebecca Anning-Brown from Silver Grey Foliage in Yorkshire, and every week we'll get real about what it takes to grow flowers for a living, from the planning and the planting to the mindset and the money. Whether you're just starting out or a few seasons in, you'll find honest conversations and practical ideas to help you to root your business in firm soil. Thank you for listening. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It really will help more flower farmers to get on and grow. Let's dig in. Hello and welcome back to Mulch. How are you? I'm well. I'm super well, in fact, from a business perspective. We've had an incredible week cutting foliage, and I'm loving seeing what everyone is doing with the foliage in their workshops and their events, and some weddings still too. It's like the best bit of vicarious viewing because we've had a part of it, and those creations are just lovely and full of kind of Christmassy joy. Before I get on with this week's episode, which is a little bit like story time, I wanted to give you one last little reminder that the early bird price for Grow Club comes to an end on Sunday at midnight. This will happen automatically, so if you do want to join us and you want to join us at the lower price, which is £34 per month, this is the time to do it. From Monday, this will go up to £42 per month, and that's quite a big difference over the course of the year, which is the length of the Grow Club membership. Our first emails go out on Monday, and we'll be meeting for the first time on Tuesday the 9th of December at 8 p.m. to reflect on the 2025 season, to weed out those things that we want to leave behind, and to start to document the plans that we want to grow and firm up in 2026. Okay, let's dig into this week's episode. I did a workshop on Tuesday evening, and one of the things that I was asked about was my favourite Christmas memory. I have to admit that I'm not actually a huge Christmas fan. I believe the story and the message, but I really hate the fuss and the jazz and the noise. It's just not my style. The workshop had a huge focus on gratitude and relationships at this time of the year, and it's been with me ever since. It's really made me think about a couple of stories that have gone round and round in my head since then that I'm really genuinely grateful for, and that relate to the business of Silver Grey Foliage and our flower farm. So I have bumped this week's planned episode to next week, and I really wanted to share these two stories with you. The first story is from the beginning of Silver Grey Foliage. The reason that we started growing flowers is actually because we started growing foliage in our garden. From the moment that we started to dig up our garden, I knew that I wanted to grow on a bigger scale, so I started to look for land. For those of you who don't know, our flower farm, Silver Grey Foliage, is in North Leeds in West Yorkshire. It's a really built up and urban place to be growing. I came to university in Leeds because despite it being so built up, and in fact it's way more built up now 30 years later, you can be in the countryside from most urban parts of Leeds or suburban parts of Leeds within 15 minutes, which is incredible. And it's just so easy to access open parks and to reach open countryside land. So knowing this, I actually thought that finding land would be easy. I could see endless farmland seemingly doing not much, and loads of pastures that evidently didn't have horses grazing them. I thought that if I just asked, somebody would say yes. As it turns out, it was harder than this. I knocked on doors, I left letters in farm postboxes, and I asked every affluent person that I knew if they could help me to find somewhere to grow. The affluent people and friends didn't take me seriously, and everyone else said a flat no, or they didn't reply at all. There was still some pieces of land that it was really hard to work out the ownership of at all. So on my way home from the hospital one day, I was really delighted to see a tractor in one of those fields. I pulled into the gateway of the field in my car, which is still the family-sized Passat that we drive now. And I jumped out of the car. Now, I must have been to a meeting on that day because I remember my outfit really clearly. I was wearing the sort of clothes that my mum would like me to still wear. A navy A-line sleeveless suit dress from Hobbs and a pair of navy heels. It was one of my favourite outfits at the time. It was smart and yet strangely comfortable. Anyway, I climbed over the gate dressed like this and walked over to the person that I affectionately now have in my phone as Farmer Paul. It was a hot day and I was so completely unprepared for what was about to hit me because it was the first time I met Farmer Paul and he was filthy and sweaty and absolutely stinking. Ugh, like literally that scent, that smell, that sense is still with me now. What I can't remember is the exact words of our conversation, but I do know that he had this kind of wry, kind of bemused smile on his face. And whilst I can't remember how I asked him, I remember asking him if it was his field, and he said yes, and whether I could rent part of it to grow flowers on, and he said no. So bizarrely unperturbed on that day, I asked this complete stranger in this completely ridiculous situation whether there was any other land that I might be able to use. And he said yes, offered me a time and a place and his number, and a meeting date was set. Just like that. I took his number, I walked off and promptly called Anthony, professing that I'd found my farmer and someone who was willing to help. I could literally record an entire series of Mulch on Farmer Paul, his stories and my education into farming life. However, he's not the reason that I'm sharing this story. I'm sharing this story because it forms the starting point of the story of resilience required to be a flower farmer. Not every flower will grow well for you. Not every customer will be your customer, and not every follower will actually intend to support your business, and that's okay. So long as you understand where you want to get to and have an idea of how to start and how to try, the rest will come. Resilience, it's a bit like the word reflection. It's often misunderstood, in my opinion. It doesn't mean that you have to take everything that's thrown at you lying down and just keep on taking it and getting up again. In fact, I say no more now than I have ever said in my working career, and our business continues to grow. The kind of resilience that being a flower farmer requires means that you have a structured and scaffolded approach. It means that it's supported by records and engages your reflections and your learning. It comes from accountability and knowing that your fear that things might go wrong are a perfectly good driving force to have a go rather than hold back. And all of this happens when you know that you're not on your own. My second story relates to the end of season, which for us also correlates with Christmas because we cut foliage right up until a few days before Christmas most years. This is a tradition. It's really simple, but it marks the point of the year when I promise myself and my children that I will stop for a few days so that we can focus on Christmas and family time and nothing else, whatever the year has looked like. Each year, when we close the doors on sales for Silver Grey Foliage, we go to the Christmas market and we have a couple of rides on the merry-go-round. The children do have fun and Anthony enjoys it too. But I really think that the reason that my family indulge this tradition is because I love it so much. I I really do. I love it so much. There's something about knowing that there's no work to do and that I have written down my business reflections for the year and documented my business dreams and goals for the year to come that makes me feel really free. And on the merry-go-round, I genuinely get the childish giddiness feeling that for a few moments, nothing matters other than the fun of going up and down and the cheesy Christmas music. It makes me laugh, and it makes me cry, and it gives me hope. None of this means that the year ahead will be easy. And I know that 2026 will be just as challenging for us as 2025 has been. But when we do that tradition again, I know that my notes will document a year where we have thrived because Silver Grey Foliage grows from really firm roots. The idea of Grow Club came from a feeling of loneliness. The Roots framework is identified from the methods that we use every day and every week, and the areas that I'm asked to focus on the most often when I mentor flower farmers. The plan for 2026 is to meet quarterly to make plans, monthly to keep up firmly planted roots, and to stay accountable to each other and ourselves. To keep track monthly of our money so that we hold on to the money that we need to pay ourselves and we spend the money wisely on growing our businesses. And if you wish to join them, there's weekly co-working sessions as well as a space that's held for you to get stuff done. All of this comes with a Slack group, which is a bit like Facebook, but it's searchable, and it's a closed and private place for us to bond, to ask questions, and offer genuine and deep support for all members. And a library of recordings that I created for the Flower Farming Business School on everything from pricing to propagation. Everything that we do will be recorded and nothing is compulsory. I know that lives are busy and you'll be able to dip in and dip out. The timings are either in the morning or in the evening, and they're designed around busy people with busy lives. My hope is that we will form a small, strong community that will really elevate your flower farming businesses. This episode is going out on Friday the 28th of November. The early bird pricing is still available until Sunday the 30th of November at midnight. I'm really looking forward to our first bonus session on Tuesday the 9th of December, because that reflection and weeding before Christmas really will help you to bring the season to a close. And the part where we document the ways that we want to grow is like the first time you strike a match, and the excitement about your flower farm potential for 2026 will start to really grow from that. I can't wait. That's it from me for this week. I'll be back next Friday with another episode of Mulch on something relevant to the flower farming practice. Have a fabulous week. Rebecca. Thank you for listening to Mulch today. Don't forget to subscribe and to share the podcast with your flower farming friends. I'll be back next week, helping you to firm your flower farming roots with real and practical flower farming insights and advice. Rebecca.